I have bought over $100,000 worth of designer clothing in my life. How much more? Probably a lot, but I really do not want to know that actual number. Please do not tell me. But when you have spent that absurd, obscene, offensive amount of money on clothes, and it really is all of those things, do not take after me, okay? I'm a lesson in what not to do. You come across all sorts of crazy stuff. Some of it good, some of it bad, some of it weird, some of it fun, some of it gross, all of the above. Now, my channel has thankfully grown quite a bit over the past year or so, but that actually got me thinking, now that we're in the new year, a lot of you don't know my story. You don't know where I came from. You don't know how I ended up here with all of this stuff, collecting all of these things. So let's take a little trip down memory lane here, shall we? So I was a wee lad, okay? And by wee lad, I mean I was like 25 years old, because I had gotten out of college and I was getting my first real job, big boy job, corporate job, desk job. And what do corporate jobs have? They have dress codes. And I come from the hardcore punk music scene where once upon a time the style was what? Like cargo shorts and t-shirts. And then as time went on, it turned into jeans and t-shirts, and then eventually it became skinny jeans and t-shirts. Anyway, denim and t-shirts, that has been my style my entire life. So what do you do when you get into a setting where they're telling you, you need to wear slacks? You need to wear a button-down shirt or something of some kind. You need to tuck it in to said trousers, okay? I didn't own any of those things. I literally, okay, my first day on this job, I wore a button-down shirt with holes in it that was at the bottom of my closet. Why didn't I go out and buy a button-down shirt? I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I was a punk and I was 25 years old and it was my first real job. Anyway, maybe you see where this is going now. I felt a bit stifled by the dress code at this job. Dress codes, they exist everywhere. We all follow rules for our clothing. It's just some are, hard-coded and written and strict. In a corporate job, it's about as strict as it gets, you know what I mean? But what is a punk to do when you're told you have to wear a button-down and slacks? Well, you start looking for other ways to express your individuality, and that's what I found by paying more and more attention to more stylish clothing. So if you're following, yes, you are understanding that right. I did not get into designer clothes until I was well into adulthood, so I got into this quite a bit later than probably many of you. And the thing is, it didn't start off as like super high-end designer. At first, I just wanted to look good. Looked cool to me, whether it was expensive or not, thrifted, new, whatever. I was just trying to pay more attention to my style. And listen, this was the era, the mid to late 2010s, when streetwear was everything, okay? Supreme was popping off. Yeezy was popping off. Off-White was starting to get into the luxury realm of things. Oh my God. Louis Vuitton, Supreme, yes please. Yes, chef. Heard, chef. And it was in the midst of this craze, this streetwear craze, that I started my channel. It was early 2020, and man, all these videos still exist. You can go watch them, but let's take a little stroll. Keep strolling down memory lane. Check out some of my earlier content. What I'm talking about is buying children's size Gucci clothing. So what I have here is a real Off-White hoodie, authentic, purchased from Sense. I'm gonna be reviewing a bunch of different designer face masks, and I will see you next time. Yeah, it's been a long journey from A to Z here. We're at Z right now. We're at the end of the road. We have perfect style. We're as cool as can be. We're the biggest YouTuber on earth. Yeah, F you, Mr. Beast. I'm bigger than you now. But really, that stuff feels like a lifetime ago. So you would probably expect, right, that I don't have any of that stuff anymore. That's all long gone because it's not cool. I hate it now, whatever. And that is true for the vast majority of it. Almost everything that I showed in my earlier videos, I probably don't own anymore. I sold it, gave it away, whatever the case may be, as I evolved my style. But it's not the case with everything. You see, in every trend, there is something underlying that has some staying power, and there are pieces from every era of my clothing journey that I have kept. And I want to show you some of those today, because just because something is from a designer or an era or a trend that doesn't fit for you anymore doesn't necessarily mean you need to throw it away. Like, okay, this hoodie I'm wearing right here, this zip up, this is a Miri. I'm not a big Amiri fan, but I am a big fan of this specific hoodie. The shirt underneath is a Rossvet Dover Street Market shirt. Do I wear tons of Rossvet stuff? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. No, I don't, but I keep it around because I like the t-shirt. This hat, it's a Supreme hat. When's the last time I even thought about Supreme? Like a minute ago when I talked about Louis Vuitton and Supreme, but the last time I bought Supreme, good Lord, no. Probably buying this hat, you know what I mean? Today, I want to show you my 10 weirdest, earliest, outside of my style, outside of the cool cycle, the trend cycle pieces that I have accumulated. These are the things that have made it through culling after culling in my closet. They're the survivors, okay? My life, my closet is Squid Game, and these 10 pieces are the hobbled husks of humans. Like, oh my God, I lived through another round. We made it. Let's check them out. Don't forget to join the Patreon. You get exclusive Discord access, talk to really cool people, including me, the coolest of all, exclusive deals on stuff that's featured on the channel. You'll get an exclusive video every month. You can get shouted out like Henry Flood, repost, people like that. Join the Patreon. All right, first up, I'm gonna start with the t-shirt that people still ask me about. As recently as like a month ago, I put out a video where I was wearing this shirt and I got comments like, what is that shirt? You have to tell me. So, this right here is a green ringer tee from Helmut Lang. And listen, Helmut Lang, no hate. I've got nothing against Helmut Lang. It is just not a designer I buy or wear now, especially modern Helmut Lang. Like, sure, maybe you got some cool vintage, like real Helmut Lang. This is it. This is the only Helmut Lang piece I own anymore, but I've kept it around because the color is fantastic. This green is one of my favorite colors. I also have an old Gosha Rubchinski shirt, again, talking about earlier eras. It's a very similar shade. The ringer style in white, it doesn't even have the ringer sleeves, it's just the neck. A great little touch here. But the thing I think that really grabs people, aside from the color and style, is the taxi print, okay? People just see it and they're like, it triggers something in their brain. They're like, that's cool, I wanna know more about it. So, you're questioning, you wanna know more about it. This is a Helmut Lang piece from autumn-winter 1819, so fall-winter 2018, and it is a limited edition shirt that was only available in selected stores worldwide. This one, I guess, from Tokyo. How did I end up with it? I have no idea, zero clue. I bought this brand new. I definitely bought it new, but was it on like Yuke's, an outlet site or something? Was it at the end of... I don't even know how I ended up with this shirt anymore, but it has stayed in my closet throughout and I still wear it probably once a week, if I'm being honest with you. Next up, I want to tell you about my most underrated sneakers. And underrated is kind of a weird word to use for these, but keep in mind, we're in 2025 now. So these right here are the Off-White Volk sneakers, and I've had these for so long, and yet I still wear them all the time. These are like the best just going out into the world sneakers that I have maybe ever owned. And here's the thing. The first music scene I ever got into was like the ska punk scene, then into regular punk and into hardcore. So this like harkens back, the striped low top sneaker style, very, very ska coded. I don't know that Virgil Abloh, the designer behind these, was intentionally referencing ska, but it is this black and white striped style, something that seemingly is never uncool. The logo itself, the Off-White logo, sure, that's uncool. The zip tie tag that I've left on for no good reason, because at the time everybody said that's the right thing to do, that's probably not that cool anymore. But these as a sneaker are cool as hell to me, and I wear these so much, but look at how well they've held up. They're in honestly like great condition for how much I have worn them. So Off-White, not that cool anymore, at least in the circles that I run in, to me personally, you know, but this is one of my best purchases, honestly. Like, as far as bang for the buck goes, these are the best. All right, next up, I'm going to show you one of the coolest pieces I have ever owned. It's a piece I don't think I will ever get rid of, and that's for multiple reasons. So, this right here is a sweatshirt. As you can see, you could say it's a David Bowie sweatshirt, a Burberry David Bowie sweatshirt, a Louis Vuitton Burberry David Bowie sweatshirt. Yeah, there's something weird going on here. So, this is a sweatshirt by a designer called Roche Boy. And he is actually from Thailand. If you were to look him up now, I haven't in a while, but last I checked, he was like a meme rapper in Thailand. And the pieces he was making were like more merch at this point. But once upon a time, he was doing some of the coolest cut and sew stuff that you could find on the entire internet. And this piece has an even cooler story, actually, because this exact piece, not one like it, literally this one that I'm holding right now, came from FKA Twigs, the artist, musician, etc. And they commissioned, I think, 2 pieces from Roche Boy. One was mainly focused around Blink-182, which I believe FKA Twigs kept. And then this one got sold through a like charity fundraiser sale on Depop many years ago. So this belonged to FKA Twigs. Now it belongs to me, and it's got Burberry, it's got vintage t-shirts, David Bowie, it's got the Louis Vuitton, it's got bandana stuff, it's got some classic British stuff. I feel like maybe it was made specifically for FKA Twigs, knowing the culture and area that she comes from. But my God, this is like one of the most goated pieces I could ever imagine having. I remember at the time, it was kind of a big swing for me. It was one of the more expensive pieces I'd ever bought, but one of the most worth it, because now I will never get rid of this. All right, next up, it's time to talk about Gucci. You can't talk about designer clothing without talking about Gucci. I mean, as soon as you get into luxury clothing, Gucci's like probably the first brand you're gonna go to, right? Especially a few years back. So what I have here is like a Where's Waldo style polo sweater. It is long sleeve, it is knit, but it's got like a nice polo collar. It is made in Italy, 100% merino wool. The knit is beautiful. The kind of like cream colored collar and button closure on the inside is beautiful. But the coolest part is at the back here. Thanatos. This was part of a collection by Alessandro Michele, and this lettering is like chain stitched into the back here. I didn't even appreciate at the time how cool this was, but this is a piece that I go back to again and again. I've sold almost all my other Gucci stuff at this point, but this one keeps making it through, you know, cut after cut, because of the fit, the feel, the material, the style, the colors, the chain stitching. All of the elements make for a really great piece of clothing. Now, pants are probably the area where I have had the most turnover. I have almost no pants at this point in my life that I owned even like 2-3 years ago. So I had to dig deep for this. One of my longest owned pairs of pants right here, staying in the luxury lane. This is an army green pair of like chinos from Balenciaga. I believe these are from 2018 or 2019, and they don't look like much, I guess, but this leg opening is huge, okay? That's probably about a foot, maybe like 11 inches if I had to guess. So these are crazy wide. You can't really maybe tell it right now, but like, holy hell. But that's all there is to it. It's not the crazy, out there, insane Balenciaga that people are really familiar with at this point, the kind of like meme fashion type stuff that they do. This is a really nice, like brushed cotton pair of army green chino pants that just happen to be incredibly wide. So it's much easier to wear than most Balenciaga, much easier to style, and unlike most Balenciaga at this point, can still fit into looks that I'm creating now. Whereas the average Balenciaga stuff is just too weird and ravey and out there for me to pull off with the rest of my wardrobe at this point. So these ones, they keep sticking around, you know? All right, I want to tell you about one of my favorite hoodies. Maybe again, the oldest hoodie I own. I got this one on the RealReal, and it's not even that good of a hoodie. I'll tell you why, but this one is a sky blue, kind of marbled blue hoodie from the brand Rochambeau. And probably the reason that it's stuck around so long is because printed on there, you have dual Lindsay Lohans. I love Lindsay Lohan. I am a Lindsay Lohan stan, but the design, the fact that there's two of them, so cool, so striking. Every time I wear it, I just feel like there's this Lohan energy coursing through this entire piece. But like, this print is really bad. The fabric is fairly cheap and stretchy feeling, like kind of synthetic feeling. The inside of it is like, yeah, it just feels kind of a little plasticky to me, to be honest. But Rochambeau, they were like an art collective brand or something. I never really understood what they were all about. None of their pieces looked like they were cohesive in any way. It was just like, yeah, it's clothes, you know what I mean? But this one, the Lohan hoodie, it's so, I can't get rid of it. I never will, and I can't. All right, let's talk button downs. As I mentioned, this corporate job that I got, I had to wear a button down. Either a button down or like a sweater or something were probably the options that I had available to me. So I needed quite a few of them. And I think this was also a pickup from the Real. But it has served me so well for so many years. This is a button down shirt by Carvin. I'm just going to say Carvin. Now, who is Carvin? Tell me, literally, I don't know who Carvin is. One of you needs to tell me. I don't know crap about this brand. I don't know anything about them. I don't really care to know anything about them. I've never seen another piece from them that really struck me or I thought was that interesting. But this one, which is like a rocky mountain range, it has kind of like RRL, Ralph Lauren vibes, but also there was like an ambush piece at the same time that I was kind of trying to reference with it. But man, this is so good. It's like this beige, black, dark gray thing, but then you have some colors, some greens and yellows coming in at the collar, and it's a really like short collar, so a little bit more, I don't know, tight, indie feeling, you know what I mean? And the fabric, it's thin and soft. It has like a silky feel to it. Like, this is just one of those flyers that I took. I bought it purely for the look and for the style, not for the brand, not for the clout or anything. And that sometimes makes for the best pieces because I don't care about Carvin, but I care about this shirt. Next up, Prada. We have got a dark green stretch mock neck t-shirt here. It's kind of sporty. It's got like a mesh feel to it, but I bought this from Selfridges, the UK department store. I paid, I think, like $40 for it. And maybe for that reason alone, I can never get rid of it, but it's got a nice tonal embroidered logo right there at the neck. But this is just a fantastic layering piece, especially for me, when I was working in this corporate environment, having a clean, luxurious layering piece in this type of color from a storied designer like Prada. This was one of those pickups that just made me feel like I was on top of the world. You know what I mean? All right, next up, let's talk outerwear. Jackets. I guess you'd call this a jacket. I'm gonna call it a jacket. It's technically a bomber jacket, okay? This right here is a weirdo bomber sweatshirt from Hyder Ackerman. And I got an insane deal on this. I think I paid some guy like $180 for it, but he must have had no idea what he had, especially at the time. Hyder Ackerman was just so cool. But it still holds up, okay? So it's like sweatshirt material with like a mesh collar and hem and things. It's fully like a bomber cut, but it's fully lined in silk, number one, okay? It has this crazy like metal AF embroidery in blue and white down the zip at the front, okay? It's got like ruched sleeves. That's maybe the craziest part. So you get this kind of like rounded, really avant-garde type of look, but it really speaks to the skill that Hyder Ackerman has as a designer, that for a guy who I don't wear a lot of his stuff, this is something that you can pull into pretty much any fit and feel good about it. All right, last but most certainly not least, we've got to talk accessories. This is a bag that is probably my oldest bag right here, and it's from one of the like coolest archive designers out there. This is a bag by Raf Simons, but it was a bag done in collaboration with Eastpak. but it's gorgeous. It's got this crazy quilting. It's got multiple layers, and it's also utilizing Raf's famous like ring motif here. So it's a great like crossbody type bag. You could cinch it shut, make it like a fanny pack type of thing. You could hold it just like a little lunch pail right here, but I use this all the time. It's the perfect size, the perfect feel. The strap is the perfect length. It's got the quilting on the inside too, so it's super, super comfortable. And like, I don't know, I don't hear people talking about Raf Simons as much anymore. And I think that's really sad. There's a reason that he was like the OG archive collection designer, because his designs for his namesake label were so, so good. And he's continuing that now at Prada. So the Eastpak collab especially, don't sleep on it, because I think like this will be cool forever. All right, that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. Take a look at the other video on screen here. Subscribe to my channel, like, comment, talk down below. Do all these engagement-y things that help me in the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you join the Patreon. Do not sleep on the Patreon. I'll see you next time.